Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam amma ba'd. So now we're going to talk about, in our lesson for fiqh for kids, we're going to talk about tahara. So this is our first lesson about the purification in Islam. Purification is in Islam. And purification, so this is the way that we purify ourselves, or the way we clean ourselves for the salat. Okay? And purification is of two types, as it's written on the board. We have the spiritual tahara, or the spiritual purification, and we have physical purification. The spiritual purification, who has an idea what spiritual purification means? Okay, religious reasons, yeah. Can anybody help us? Do you know? Khalid?
Purify your heart?
It is a purification of the heart. Good. So, the spiritual purification, this has to do with entering Islam. Meaning the Muslim, all Muslims are pure. They're pure in their belief. As long as they've entered the fold of Islam, now Muslims have different levels of Iman. But a Muslim, because he says Shahadu la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, he says the Shahada, and this makes him enter the fold of Islam. He's purified in belief. Just a minute. And so a non-Muslim, in their belief, they are najis. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, so that they are not pure in their belief. Why? Because they commit shirk. Because they associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first type of purification is the purification of the soul, which is tahara of the soul, in belief. Purification in belief, having a clean belief. And your clean belief is what? Islam. Good. Okay, good. Then the second type of purification which we're concerned about is the physical purification, meaning in the body. So this has to do with purifying ourselves for salat. Okay? This has to do with making what for salat? What do?
Wudu.
Making wudu. Good. And also, if we need to take a bath, we call it what in Arabic?
Shower.
Ghusl.
Good.
Okay? Good. So making the ghusl, which those are types of physical. So that's the difference between the spiritual and the physical purification. So how many types of purification are there again? Okay, what are they?
Physical and spiritual.
Ahsant. Good. So there's spiritual and physical purification. Tayyib. So purification in Islam, or tahara, it means in the Sharia, it means to purify oneself for prayer by cleaning oneself from major impurity and minor impurities. Okay? So impurities are of two types as well. We have the major impurity and the minor impurity. The major impurity is like what? Does anybody know?
Major impurity is like not cleaning yourself the right way.
No, the major impurity, This is the reason why you have to become pure. What would it be,
Not cleaning yourself right?
Not cleaning yourself, no. So anyway, let me just give you the answer. So the major impurity has to do with, for example, when a husband and a wife, they have relations, or when you get to a certain age and you have like a wet dream or something like this. This is what you have. Well, when you become mature. So listen up. So when you become mature, then this necessitates that you have to make a ghusl. Okay? And when a husband and a wife, when they have relations, they have to make a ghusl afterwards. They have to clean themselves with a shower. Not just wudu, not just the basic purification, but they have to purify themselves with the Islamic ghusl, meaning they have to take a shower, and we'll talk later about that a little bit more. Also, also when someone enters the fold of Islam and they become a new Muslim, if they were a non-Muslim before and they become a Muslim, they also have to take ghusl, or take a shower, in order to purify themselves. And this is a part of just entering the fold of Islam and being a new, spiritually clean individual. But that doesn't mean that they had a bunch of dirty things on them or anything. No, but it has to do with them purifying themselves spiritually and coming into the fold of Islam. Okay, just hold on a minute. Let me finish explaining. So, this is the major impurity. The minor impurity would mean those things that make you have to make wudu. For example, if we go to the bathroom, we urinate. Okay? Yeah, but we're talking about ghusl, we're talking about major and minor. The difference between the major and minor, that's what we're talking about now. So, the minor impurities, things like if you pass gas, for example. Okay? This is, come on guys. So this is a natural thing that all of us have to do. So, exactly. Jazakallah khairan. That's beautiful. Listen up. So, if you do that, or you do the what? You also, if you have to go to the restroom, akramakumullah, you have to urinate, or you have to defecate, that these things necessitate the minor impurity. And in order to purify yourself from that, you make wudu for the salat. But also another point is that when we use the bathroom, of course we have to do what? We have to wash ourselves, our private parts that we use for using the bathroom. Okay? So we have to use water for that. Use water, and you can use tissue as well with that. And there's other different ways of doing that, and we'll talk about that later in another lesson. So I just want to give you an idea first that there is a major and there is a minor impurity. So the major impurity, the difference is that, for example, if what's called janaba, that you have impurity from the husband and wife from having relations, or the boy or the girl who enters their puberty stage and they have, for example, a wet dream or something like this. This is the major impurity that they have to purify themselves and make the ghusl, take a bath. The minor impurity are those things that just break your wudu, like going to the bathroom, as we mentioned, doing, urinating or defecating, or also what? Passing gas, of course. So those are the minor impurities. Jamil. Okay. Very. Also, when we purify ourselves, also part of purification is that we clean our clothes. Our clothing needs to be pure, so our thobes and our pants or whatever we're wearing, or our abayas for the women or girls, is that it has to be clean too. You can't have urine on it from using the bathroom, or any other impurities. And even blood. Even blood is, you should wash the blood off. Okay? So anything like that, I'll let you open for questions in just a minute. Let me finish this first. Is that you need to purify your clothing. So first, we have to make sure our clothing is pure. Then we also have to make sure our body is pure. Okay, so we mentioned the body, so that we have no najasa, no filth upon our body. Okay, no urine on us, no defecation, and things like this. Just a minute.
You said you were going to give us a bath.
Give you what?
You said you were going to give us a bath.
I will, but not now. Right now we're doing this. I want you to finish this, and then we'll talk about that. Where? This says place. Go ahead and see. Okay, so listen up first, let me finish. So our clothing, our body, and the place. Okay? So that means we can't play in a place that has filth on the ground. You cannot pray on a place that has urine on the ground, vomit, or any of those things. For example, if you have a baby brother or sister and they pee on the floor, basically, they urinate on the floor, you have to clean that with water.
What if so can you
Sit down.
pray outside in the dirt?
If you pray in the dirt, it's okay. The dirt is pure. Okay? And we're going to find out later, of course, that dirt, we can use it for tahara if we don't have water. If we do not have water, we can use dirt. But we'll talk about that later, huh?
If you're going to pray and there's no water unavailable, can't you use sand?
Yep, and that's what we're going to talk about later. That's what I'm talking about. That's called tayammum. So, again, what three things do we need to have purified, Sultan? We just talked about it, and you wanted to... Okay, Khalil, huh? Nasra, no one's listening, huh? It's written on the board, right here.
Clothes.
Your clothing.
Your clothing.
Your body.
Your body
And the place you pray.
Yeah.
Okay, so all three of those things need to be pure. That's very important. Okay. Getting on to the next thing, purification requires water, and the water itself must be clean. You can't use dirty water. You can't use water that has, that someone is, that has some najasa in it, that has dirty, that a pig drank out of, or a dog has drank out of. You can't use that kind of water. Or a water where something najis, like we mentioned, that urine or defecation or something dirty and filthy like that has fallen into it. You cannot use water like that. Hold on a minute. Let me finish, and then you can ask. So again, our water needs to be pure, okay, and clean. And it needs to be unmixed with anything. Okay, it can't mix with something. If something does mix with it, though, if a little bit of urine, your brother was using the bathroom, a little bit splashed in the bucket you were going to use for wudu, as long as it doesn't change these three aspects of water, as long as it doesn't change the smell of the water, or the taste of the water, or the color of the water, then you can still use it. So if something najis fell in that water and it didn't change the color, the taste, or the smell, you can use it. Okay? You don't have to use it, but I'm saying you can use it. Okay? So wait a minute, because maybe you don't have a lot of water, so you need to, that's the only water that you have. As long as it doesn't change the smell, the taste, or the color, you can still use it. That's with najasa, with something filthy. If it's something clean, for example, like flour or sugar or tea or rose water or something, and it falls in there and it changes, then in that case, the water is still, it's a type of purity, but you shouldn't make wudu with it. Okay? If it has changed the smell, the taste, or the color. So basically you're looking, if anything mixes with your water you want to make wudu with, and it changes the smell, the taste, or the color, you shouldn't use it for wudu. And if it is from najasa, something filthy, and it changes those things, you definitely cannot use it. If it is something pure like tea or sugar or flour, and it changes the color, now it's white water, but it still seems like water, you shouldn't use it. Okay? And the scholars of Islam, they speak about this, and they have differences over this, but inshallah ta'ala, that is the most correct opinion, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. So, again, just to recap, we talked about tahara. It has two types, the spiritual type of tahara and the physical type. Also, that tahara in Islam means cleaning oneself from the major impurity and the minor impurities. And that we have to have our clothing, our body, and our place for prayer clean. Tahara, we use water, and water that has been unmixed with other substances. And if some other substance does mix with it, as long as it doesn't change the smell, the taste, or the color, we can use it for tahara. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this from us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us guidance and bless us with the sawab. Wa sallallahu wasallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. And if you have questions, we can do the questions.